A while ago, it actually took me between 15 and 40 hours to produce one YouTube video. And now the reason was not video editing. I already know about shortcuts and templates and all that stuff. The reason was actually my workflows. They weren't super efficient. So I constantly looked for ways to improve that, to make video creation faster for me. And especially during the past 2 years, I found out quite a few things that helped me a lot that I want to share with you in this video. So if you want to produce videos faster, keep watching. We're getting right into it. Now, I shot quite a lot of video footage over the years, both for specific video projects, but also just randomly while I was traveling and stuff. And that's about 15 terabytes, actually a bit more, which just lives on my NAS server. And I use some of that footage still when I make new videos to just show something that I'm talking about, which is also called B-roll footage. But it is always super hard to find that footage because I can't even remember anymore when I shot what, and I have it all sorted by years and then by which camera I shot on and where and stuff, and it is just so hard always to find it. And that leads me to my first tip, which is to build a proper B-roll library. So what I started doing now is that I have one folder that I call B-roll library, and in there I have subfolders that are just named with a number and with whatever I'm doing or whatever happens in the video files that I have in each folder. And I also keep a list of this folder with all these subfolders in my craft docs. You can also use Notion for that, so that I always know which folder number contains what, because reading folder names is not always the best to do in Finder. It oftentimes works a bit better if you do that in a note-taking app. And in that folder, I copy old footage that I can still use, but I also produce new footage for it regularly that is not for a specific video, but that I think I will be able to use a lot in the future, so that I also have sequences and generally footage, especially for such things in that folder. And also when I shoot footage for specific videos that I might be able to use in future videos as well, I also copy it in there. And I intentionally shoot more clips, because in that B-roll folder, I don't just want to have like some random clips always of maybe, let's say, me holding a camera or something like that. I ideally always want to have full sequences. So instead of like one shot of me holding a camera and maybe getting a shot, I would have a full sequence of entering a scene, putting the bag down, taking the camera out, maybe attaching a microphone, attaching filters or something else, getting the camera up, shooting, and eventually doing something else, maybe even cutaway shots. So instead of just having one or two shots, I always make sure that there are full sequences. So even if I only have to get one or two shots for a new video, if I think this is a good opportunity to shoot a full sequence that I can then also use in future videos, I do that directly, so I can copy it in that folder and I have it available forever. So that's really something that speeds up the editing of some of my videos a lot. And what I also like about it is that it kind of takes the pressure away of shooting, because when I shoot for a certain video, I usually have a specific shot list and I have a deadline when I have to have the video ready and stuff. But if I shoot like that, there's absolutely no pressure at all, because I just decide when I want to go anywhere, usually in the morning. And then I think, okay, maybe I could shoot a little sequence there. I've just planned a few shots and done. And if anything goes wrong there, I don't have any pressure, I don't have any stress, because I don't need the footage anytime soon. It's not urgent. So that's a way that speeds up finding your files when you edit your videos a lot. But I have another way that I found out just a few weeks ago, which I find super cool. Now, I'm on a Mac. I don't know how it is on Windows computers, but on a Mac, it looks like that the system constantly goes through all the video files and photos and stuff, analyzes them, and understands what's in them. So for example, if I search for a motorbike in Finder, it finds video files that don't contain motorbike in the tags or in the file name or so, but that show something with motorbikes. So whenever I need a motorbike clip, for example, I don't even have to sort it or put it in my B-roll library folder. I can just search for motorbike and I find clips where I'm on the motorbike, or there are other motorbikes in the shot or so. And that works for all sorts of stuff. That feature surprised me a lot. I think they use artificial intelligence for it. I don't understand how that works, because it has to go through so many files and analyze them, but it's so cool. And this is a great example of how to use AI in a positive way to speed up and improve your video production. But there are other ways. One is, for example, if you shoot a lot of talking head footage like I do here right now, because going through all that footage, if you shot for an hour or so, cutting out all the ums and ahs and all the bad takes, silences, etc. can take quite a lot of time. And for that, there's a tool called Gling AI, which I use for about a year, and it's just amazing because it essentially cuts all the bad stuff out of your A-roll footage directly. And this is also the sponsor of today's video, so let's have a quick look how it works. To use Gling AI, you just load your talking head footage into the app, and it automatically cuts out all the bad takes, long pauses, and even those awkward ums and ahs. So instead of wasting an hour or so going through all the footage to clean it up yourself, you can quickly check everything with text-based editing, which pretty much works like editing a Word document, just easier. And once you're happy with it, you export the whole thing as an XML file and bring it into your editing software. From there, you just add B-roll and polish it up where Gling wasn't perfect, because even AI is not always perfectly on point. But that's not all. Gling also got a bunch of extra features. It can, for example, automatically zoom in and out on cuts to hide jump cuts, fix bad audio if your editing app doesn't support it, and even generate subtitles and chapters. And if you're working with multicam setups like overhead shots or podcast style videos with multiple camera angles, it handles that too. Best of all, it's surprisingly fast, and it starts at just $10 a month. That's a no-brainer considering how much time it saves. There's also a free trial, so you can try it out yourself and see if the time savings are worth it for you. You will find a link to Gling AI in the description below. Now, as you might have guessed by now, I'm not a native English speaker, I'm German, and that means that I don't always get the right words in my head while I'm talking freely to the camera, like I'm doing right now, by the way. That's why most of the time I actually write my scripts and read them from a teleprompter, and this is another aspect of my workflow that can take quite a lot of time, and I can tell you already, AI does not work, because if someone sees you talking while you're reading from a teleprompter and the AI wrote the script for you, you always sound a little robotic. So that does not work. You should actually write your own scripts, but I did find a way to do that a lot faster, and that is by using speech to text, which I have the impression also got a lot better thanks to AI. And you don't even need an extra app for that or so, like on Apple devices at least, on my MacBook or my iPad, I can just press the dictate button in any app in my notes-taking apps, Craft Docs, you can use Bear, Notion, whatever you want to use, and just press that button, start talking, and it writes everything down. And what I love about it is that I don't have to keep talking, like it waits for me until I talk again. So if I need to think a bit more about which words I use now, I can totally do that. Just stop for a few seconds, maybe even a minute or so, really think about it, and then continue talking. It writes everything down. And I think this doesn't only make it faster to write your scripts, but it also makes it better because you also write those scripts more the way you would actually talk because you talk. So this is actually a really good way of script writing. The only downside I found is that you usually can't do that while sitting in a cafe or so, because obviously people hear that and it's a bit annoying. So you might want to do that at home, but that helps a lot, speeds it up, and it also makes my scripts a bit better. Another point that slowed me down a lot over the years was to set up all the B-roll shots, especially when it comes to products, but also settings and stuff like that, or when I wanted to show features of something. And that was mostly because you always have to set everything up. Like you have to find the right angle in the room, position your camera, choose the right lens, set up all the lights and stuff, and that all takes time. It just adds up. And I've finally been able to solve that by building an overhead rig here. I have a Fujifilm X-M5 above my head here, nearly or slightly in front, pointing towards the desk. And now whenever I want to shoot something, may it be a product B-roll, may it be a camera screen to show some settings, or even when it comes to video editing, sometimes I can use my iPad for that. Just lie it flat here and show it on there. And that makes it so much easier, because if I now want to show a feature of a lens, for example, I can just hold the lens under it here and show the feature. Or even for YouTube thumbnails, for example, I can just place some stuff here on that desk, get an overhead shot of that quickly, and done. I don't have to set up lights anymore. I don't have to set up the camera anymore. I don't even have to think about the shots anymore, because overhead actually looks pretty good. So everything is solved and it just works. And it gets even better. The way how I use that is that I don't even plan my B-roll footage anymore, at least when it comes to such shots before. I just sit on my computer there, edit the video, and whenever I feel like there should be some B-roll footage, I just leave a title in the timeline, writing down what I want to show there. And then after I essentially edited everything down, I just go title by title through my timeline, always go to the desk here, get the overhead shot quickly. After all the shots are done, I just take the SD card, copy everything to my computer, drag it straight into the timeline, cut it quickly down, and done. Like, this process takes like 10 minutes around at the end of the edit of a video. So the overhead rig definitely helps me a lot. And that leads me to our 5th tip, which is that at least over time you should build an always ready YouTube setup. Let me show you what I mean. I have to close the window to show you that. So now lighting is pretty bad here, but now comes the magic. Hey Siri, video lights on. Wait for it. Got the key light. Got the whole background lighted up. Perfect. This is so cool. So as you can see, it only takes me one Siri shortcut to turn on all the lights here for that YouTube setup. And I think you can imagine how much time that saves. Like, I don't have to set up my lights anymore. I don't have to look for a camera angle, nothing. I can just sit down and start talking, and that doesn't only speed up the recording itself, but it also lets me procrastinate less, because the less friction there is in between me and starting a certain task, the more likely it is that I will do it directly without procrastinating on it. So it also helps in that regards. Now, my setup here is also not yet perfect. For example, my camera here, the A7C Mark II, is also a camera that I constantly use outside. So every time I want to record a roll here, I have to set up the camera, plug the microphone in, turn the microphone back on, and make sure that everything works perfectly, that the camera is set up correctly and stuff. That also takes a bit of time. That's why in the future I plan to replace that camera with a steady camera there that never leaves the tripod. But I can't afford that yet, because I'm becoming a father soon, need to buy a car right now, so the money is really not there. And the setup works for now. It's like probably 2 minutes of setting everything up, which is still quite good. But you know, like, it could be even more convenient. So definitely build an always ready YouTube setup over time. Mustn't be a full room like I did here. Many YouTubers also have a stand on wheels where then the light, camera, microphone, etc. is connected, so that you can quickly roll that through your apartment or wherever you live, and you have multiple camera angles available. That's another way of doing that. Takes a little bit of setup time, but it's still pretty good. And if you want to know how I built this room here, how I set everything up, the lighting, etc., check out this video in the corner. I actually made a vlog about it. There you learn more. And of course, for upcoming tutorials, reviews, etc., subscribe, and I see you there. Hey Siri, daylights. So, normal ceiling light turns on again. Open the window, and we're ready for video editing or any other work in this room.